Hey everybody, we're here for the new episode of the RLG cast. We have a special guest here. We'll get to him in a second. Today we're going to just open the floor and talk about some random movie stuff from our past, from the future, from the present, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm your host, Sergio Spaghetti, and I'm here with my friend Muscle Marinara and Johnny Meatballs 777.
Johnny Meatballs.
I changed my name.
What's your name? Oh, Cap's the real Putty. Okay, so we'll address him as the real Putty.
Real Putty.
You see it?
Yeah.
Putty.
The real Putty.
The real Putty.
Like Putty the guy or Putty the stuff?
That's too much information.
Too much information. All right, we don't want to
Can't
give it all away
divulge that
here.
much information right
Make
away.
it to the end of the podcast, and maybe you'll get to find out.
Yes.
So I'll go over some news that I have currently before we talk about the what have yous.
Mhm.
It's San Diego Comic-Con 2023. You basically aren't allowed to go because there's a SAG-AFTRA and the WGA strike. However,
Ooh.
I don't know if anyone noticed this. There's a lot of really, really high profile, big name actors that have attended the event, even though it explicitly says in their manual that they are not allowed to attend anything with SAG-AFTRA struck material at the event. So, but no one's saying anything to them because who's going to say anything to Jamie Lee Curtis, right?
But are they
But
going?
if I do it,
are they going as a tourist or are they going as
they're going there for panel events? Even if they're going as a tourist, they're not allowed to attend anything that has struck material.
Money talks.
And this is the messed up part about it. No one's going to say anything to Jamie Lee Curtis, but if I do it and post it, I will never be able to join SAG. So, shout out to a really stupid union. I hope they get their money though. Anyways, back to news that has arisen from said event. DC is planning to give Harley Quinn a new origin for her sadistic nature in the comics.
Stan's Joker. I heard about that. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll find out about that as we go. Sorry. Aquaman is going back apparently for more reshoots. The third round of reshoots. The first reshoots were to remove anything that had to do with Flashpoint from the movie. The second reshoots were to take away anything from the Snyderverse from the movie. And the new reshoots are, I don't know what these new reshoots are for.
Amber Heard?
I don't know. Just remove her and Johnny Depp from the universe. Continuing on, DC announced a Justice League crossover with Godzilla and King Kong.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be a comic book or a movie, but that's all. Everyone just kept reporting that, and I'm not going to open your website. You don't deserve my views. However, I think that's a very strange idea.
I'm in for it though.
Yeah, why not? But I mean, it's kind of like a weird thing, right? Because anytime you have a thing like Godzilla and then Superman, it's like Superman will just go through you, like shoo through you. So,
but maybe Godzilla's radioactivity acts like kryptonite to Superman.
It has to be, right? Obvious. That's like my thought process, but it's like I don't like when you include the words Justice League because then it implies Superman, and applying Superman to anything just feels silly sometimes. I don't know. I have a very weird take of Superman, and I'm sure a lot of people don't like it. But John Boyega is apparently willing to come back as Finn to the Star Wars franchise for the new movie with
Daisy Ridley, which I'm a little upset about because it's 15 years in the future. I think they should have went further. I know you don't want to she's not going to look that much older and you don't really want to age her up, but they should have made it 25 years. So it feels like a long time has passed.
A long time has passed because she's been a Jedi for about 1 year. So adding 15 years to this, whereas Luke was 30 years as a Jedi. Do you know what I mean? So it's oh, now you're.
But then again, people. Luke, when he did what he did in The Mandalorian was only 5-6 years of being a master.
I think 10.
10? Okay.
I think I don't know for sure. We can look this up, but I think The Mandalorian is 10 years after Jedi.
I thought Daisy really didn't want to come back.
Oh, she's back. She already signed on.
Yeah.
So that
money talks. Money talks.
Yeah, I mean, but she was not the problem with those movies.
I never said that.
No, I'm just stating
I
that.
think because I thought that she didn't want to come back because she probably felt typecasted, and it's like nobody wanted to give
a weird
her
thing.
Like, an opportunity for something else.
It's a thing that they used to. Okay, this is good. We can stay on this for a little bit. It's a thing that used to happen where like decades or at least 10 years ish down the road, people would come around to movies they grew up with and have this attachment, which is like this really, really gross thing that I can't stand with the prequel Star Wars movies because they're not good.
No.
All right. The third one is the best one, and it's a fine movie. Like at least for me, Force Awakens was a really good movie. The second one is fine. The third one is not very good. But it's kind of like Jedi. I'm not a big fan of Jedi, but it's a fine movie. Anyways, I digress from my point. This like appreciation has already started to happen where people are like going back and watching those movies and being like, well, you know what? I kind of like that movie. You know what I mean? And it's like,
do you like the movie or do you like the nostalgia that it brings?
That's what it is, right? And it's like people are looking back, oh, I kind of want Daisy Ridley back. Like, I feel like she was never the issue. Like Finn, John Boyega, and I can't remember her name that played Rose are the one that took the brunt of the beating.
Oh, yeah.
And then for a very slight bit, Oscar Isaac for kissing a guy. Or like whatever happened at the end of that movie. But it just shows you like it's all racism.
No, but they forced that because the internet wanted Finn and Poe to be gay, and they
should have been. Think of the story we could have told.
If that were from the beginning, it would have been a great story, but it felt like it was forced at the end.
To me, you had two options. This is awkward, like options, but you either finish the Rey storyline where they stay together as the new version of like Han and Leia, or you go all the way with the gay storyline, which would have worked really good.
Yeah, that would have been
what they did, doing the fake out with Rey and then the fake out with Rose, and then having him come around into this awkward gay storyline, but then segueing it into him just being with a random other woman, because that's what happened.
Yeah, because he ended up with that other girl,
random girl that he met on that planet because she was also thing. Yeah, like what?
But they're also talking about making Finn's character force sensitive as well.
But they kind of teased that to you. Listen, I think the issue you have here is you had someone that wanted to go in a completely new direction, take over the reins for the second movie, which was already a bad idea. But the number one thing they did wrong is, at least in the original trilogy, and I guess even in the prequels, even though they changed directors or what have you, whatever they did, I mean, I'm pretty sure Lucas directed the whole prequels, but he was the consistent writer. So everything, even as messy as it got, kind of lined up. In this, you went from one writing team to a new writing team to a new writing team.
But the thing was, it wasn't even a writing team. It was George Lucas.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? But it's his original idea.
Team. Right, but he was the writing team. He wrote the entire prequel trilogy. He wrote A New Hope. This one had a team of writers, and I think that's where it suffered too. Like, not everybody might be on the same page.
Okay, in the first movie, I'll die on this hill. It's better than A New Hope. It's the same movie, but fixed all the mistakes, and with way better acting. I can't stand people that try to explain to me that Harrison Ford was really good in the first Star Wars. No, he was so bad.
Chewbacca was the best actor.
Chewbacca was the best actor. No, you know what? Carrie Fisher was always the best actor.
Yeah.
He is as high as she was. R.I.P. I want Billie Lourd to be in this. Like, why wouldn't you use her daughter to be some kind of character?
Even though she was in the last
She's in it as like a ship,
a random person.
Yeah. Like, but this is a thing too. You could have made it so they had more than one kid.
Yeah.
Right. And you could have even spun it off to be the same type of storyline. She had twins. One is Adam Driver, one is Billie Lourd. And
we don't get any Billie Lourd storyline at all. We just know about her until this movie comes along. You know, it could have been something like that. Anyways, I'm not trying to fan cast or fan booking here, but I mean,
it has potential.
I think Daisy Ridley was not the problem.
No.
And if you can get consistent writing,
if anything,
on this,
it's Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that too. But if you can have Dave Filoni and you can have Jon Favreau with their hands firmly on anything Star Wars, let it happen. Like, what's the big deal? She can act. Give them a script worth.
Now,
acting.
what I want to know is, are they going to connect this Mandalorian saga to this?
I don't know, because Mandalorian, I don't know if you saw the recent comments of Mandalorian was always meant to be a story about all the Mandalorians. Like,
no, I don't believe that. No,
it's just because now you have that Pedro Pascal problem. You're trying to like push it to a new place.
And this season clearly showed it by shifting the focus from Pedro to Bo-Katan.
But Bo-Katan is really good.
Yes.
I think it's arguably a more interesting story than what's his name? Sorry, I forgot.
Din Djarin.
Yeah. Caps, would you agree?
I haven't seen the new season yet.
Okay, well, it's about Bo-Katan basically. But
the war for Mandalore.
She has a lot more going on in her backstory than he does, right? Like if you've been watching, he doesn't really even have a backstory. She was like a princess and like all this stuff, and
she could have been Obi-Wan's sister-in-law.
Yeah, see, there's so much to story to tell with her, and I think it's a lot more rich in storytelling at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's more to tell. There's more lore behind it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, sure, as good of a story as you're telling in Andor, it's already over.
This is basically what Filoni did now with Mandalorian and all this. He's created his live action Clone Wars, and now he's doing his live action Rebels with Ahsoka.
Yeah, basically. And I mean, I'm happy about that. I like the Ahsoka stuff.
Are we going to get a Freddie Prinze cameo as a Force Ghost?
Maybe. Do you think we will?
Well, I mean, they cast everybody else. It would make sense to have him come back, especially if, from what I see from the trailers, like that, what's her name? Sabine Wren can be force sensitive, might be force sensitive. And she might be training. And, you know, she did have some training with Jared. So.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let's just get the rest of this news done, and then we're going to talk about stuff. So Saw X or 10, I don't know what it actually is.
It's kind of a prequel, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to take place between the first Saw and the second Saw. Tobin Bell is back. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was Warner Brothers announced the 2 animated movies we're getting next year. One of them is The Watchmen, the actual like comic book story, and Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths. With that like, I want that
finally,
because that's a story where I've read the comic, but like I don't remember it, and I'd like to get it back in like a movie form, you know?
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Kind of off topic, but here, did you guys like the movie The Watchmen?
No.
Yeah.
What was that?
Wow, this is a good one. This is a good one. I really liked it.
How long ago did it come out?
We're looking at least
2010.
Yeah, at least 12, 13 years ago.
I can tell you.
I felt lost.
If Alan Moore didn't like it, I don't like it.
Yeah, it felt boring.
2009. Have you seen the show?
The show's even worse.
I have not. I don't know. Everyone tells me the show's like the best show DC ever made.
No. I didn't like the show at all.
Okay. Well, anyways, the movie, I do not like Zack Snyder, obviously. But it's his best movie. And the reason that it's his best movie is because the source material that it pulls from is amazing.
See, whereas I didn't like the movie, the casting and all the actors did a fantastic job, but it's just the movie I didn't like. The style of the movie I didn't like.
It feels like a comic book, though. That's like what I like about it. and not in, and his overbearing darkness plays into it because the comic is overbearingly dark.
Yeah.
Where Superman is not, and it feels odd. And it is confusing. I don't know if you've ever read the comic, Caps, but it's equally as
I didn't.
It's equally as hard to follow as the movie story is.
Yeah. I
he
just
does
remember watching in the theater. I was like, wow, this.
And Alan Moore doesn't like it.
Yep.
Because he changed the ending.
Yes.
That's why he doesn't like it. And Alan Moore's also a grouch, like a big grumpy grouch who doesn't like anything. Which with Neil Gaiman used to also be that, but he's recently turned around and like he sold all his properties to Netflix.
And Sandman is a good show.
Sandman is 6 episodes of a really good show and then 4 terrible episodes. Not 100% what happened. The animated episode is fine, the bonus one that they released. But if you like, the actual stories to do with Sandman are fantastic.
Yes.
As soon as it becomes focused around that girl and her brother, it's so bad. Like some of the worst acting I've ever seen in a big budget production.
Fair enough.
Wow.
Right? I don't know.
Yeah.
So okay, I already know how you feel about Batman 89. Both of you like Batman 89. Very mediocre piece of media. I would say if I was telling a lie. Because it's amazing. What are your thoughts on Batman Returns? Because I don't think we've ever really talked about Batman Returns.
If you want to take,
I'll do it. Like I enjoyed Batman Returns. I thought it was a great movie. The casting was fantastic. It didn't live to the hype of the first one. I think the second one was more there to sell the toys than anything, but they couldn't sell the toys because the movie was just so much darker and sinister. Right?
Yeah, I remember McDonald's pulling out of that.
Well, I think we talked about that on the Flash review, or on the last podcast.
I think it was the last.
Nick was here for one of them, right?
Yeah.
But it's like you had no problem selling the toys that sold like hotcakes that still are so popular for a movie that was even darker than Batman Returns.
I don't know. Like, I think Batman Returns was a little darker.
Batman Returns is darker in like a horror aspect, but Batman 89 is like more evil. Like it's about a sadistic murderer who was part of the mob as a hitman and is now just killing everybody in Gotham City. Where the other movie is Oswald Cobblepot, yes, he looks grotesque, but he's taking advantage of everyone to become the mayor of the city. His goal is not to kill everybody.
Just certain people.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to take out the elite, right? Because they're the ones who wronged him. Where Joker is just like, I'm going to murder everybody. And then Catwoman is just Catwoman. Best Catwoman.
Let me here. I don't know. Maybe this might make sense. It might not make sense, but I thought Batman 89 is a better Batman movie. I thought Batman Returns was a really good Tim Burton movie style movie.
It's more Tim Burton-y.
Yes.
But
had a lot of Beetlejuice elements to it.
Yeah, like I thought the cast was like you said, Johnny Donuts. Like the cast was unbelievable. Michelle Pfeiffer, Danny DeVito were awesome. Chris Walken was hilarious.
Yeah. Bruce Wayne. Why the hell you dressed up as the Batman?
Bruce Wayne, the Bat.
Even Michael Keaton was fine. I just thought that there was more of a mystique about Batman in the 89 movie than there was in Batman Returns. I just thought Batman Returns, Batman was a bit of just came off a bit wimpy.
I wouldn't say wimpy, but I feel like the character doesn't have any growth in the second movie. In the first movie, he's dealing with a lot of struggles. And there's a good flip-flop between Bruce Wayne and Batman and these two like lives that he's living, where in the second movie he just is both characters, you know? There's no differentiating between Batman or Bruce Wayne. He's just both characters.
Yeah. I felt like he was losing a lot of battles in Batman Returns.
But you did also have the return of Pee-wee and Simone from Big Adventure as the Cobblepot's parents.
That's true. And excellent. Pee-wee Herman in my Batman movies any day.
Any day.
The Herminator.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
They're fine.
I think Batman, the first Batman, is genuinely a good movie. Not to mention a really good comic book movie.
Let's not kid ourselves. It has its flaws.
Yeah, it does. But it's not a 10 out of 10. But I think it's a movie. It's a movie that not only it stands up as like a really good comic book movie, but you could remove it out of that genre, that subgenre of movies, and compare it to just movies,
a crime
in
movie.
General. Yeah, and it's pretty good. The second movie struggles to tell a story, though it's a lot more like has a lot more entertainment value to it.
I think it's also that at that point the story was that character, like Max Schreck's character, the business tycoon who will do anything to get his company over. I would have liked, if anything, with that film, I would have liked them to go against Wayne Enterprises.
That would have been good because he would have got more Bruce Wayne. I think he's the best Bruce Wayne. There should have been more of him. This is to me the differentiating factor. The first movie is a gothic, like, character study, kind of, right? And the second movie is a very 90s emo feeling, like grungy feeling, neon, like it's indicative
neon was the third one more than anything.
Well, but you still see it here. Like Catwoman has the bright pink lights, and like everything is filmed in this sort of weird lighting where it's very bright,
almost like a steampunk meets a cyberpunk type of aesthetic.
Yeah, to me it's 90s emo. That's like how I feel, right? And it speaks a lot more to the people of that generation because they see that and they identify with it. Where the first movie is like no one's going to identify with that movie.
I think also the fact that when Batman and Batman Forever came out, and that was a piece of hot garbage, that you go back and look at Batman Returns as this great movie because the one that followed it was terrible.
Well, this is a thing I will talk. I wanted to go there anyways, but anyways, hashtag release the Schumacher cut already. I want nothing more than the gayest possible Batman and Robin movie because it will just flip the entire thing on its head. But I think Batman Returns has that factor that we talked about with the Star Wars movies where people have gone back to it now and been like, wow, this movie's pretty good. Like, no, it was pretty good before. Everyone was upset it wasn't as good as the first one and like pushed it aside. But when you go back and look at it,
hindsight's 2020.
When you see how bad the rest of the 90s comic book movies are, barring maybe the first X-Men, which was like 2000, I think, the first Spider-Man and Blade. That was Tank Girl sucks. Shout out to Putty. It's a really interesting idea, though. I think it would work as a TV show. We did talk about this, but I feel like that's what Batman Returns is now, right? There's this weird love for it now that came out of nowhere, and that's one of Michelle Pfeiffer's best performances.
Yeah,
one of Danny DeVito's best performances. No, it's not Michael Keaton's best because his best movie is Multiplicity. Everyone knows that. Or Mr. Mom.
Mr. Mom.
There you go.
I really wish
Night Shift with Henry Winkler.
You went too far. You've gone too far.
What was that movie that Michael Keaton played like a murderer, stalker?
Pacific Heights.
Is that what it's called?
Pacific Heights or Pacific Palisades?
I don't remember what it's called. I remember the movie. I don't remember the name. All I remember is the Dream Team, where there are a bunch of escaped mental institution people that go to a baseball game.
Listen, I don't remember the name of that movie, but Michael Keaton played a heck of a character in that movie. Get the crap out of me.
He's a good actor, man. If no one has seen Birdman, do yourself a favor and go watch Birdman. Or Beetlejuice.
His latest films are great too, man. Like the stuff he's come out with.
Yeah, he's excellent. He was great in Spider-Man.
Even that movie that he did with he's playing that McDonald's movie, whatever.
Oh, that was an excellent movie. The Founder. I have that. I bought that. That's how much I liked it.
Sorry, Campo, if you don't mind. I really wish that they would have allowed Tim Burton and Michael Keaton to do a third Batman movie. You know, I think from what I understand, Robin Williams would have played the Riddler, and they were going to bring
Damon Wayans.
Damon Wayans is going to be Robin,
and I think Billy D. Williams, they're going to bring him back to play
Two-Face.
That's Two-Face, yeah.
I'm very curious to see to know what would have happened. What if?
So
that situation.
Read Batman 89, the 6-issue comic run.
Don't you have it?
I do.
No, I thought Caps. Didn't you buy it? You bought it. He has it right there. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
One?
Yeah, that one.
Never took it out of the package yet.
Yeah.
Well, now's your choice. Now's your chance.
That basically is what the story was supposed to be for.
They took a lot of those elements from. Awesome. Yeah.
But so originally, actually, I learned this recently. Originally, John Lithgow was the choice to play Joker because Terry Gilliam was supposed to direct Joker or Batman, and he wanted him. And then he said no, he didn't want anything to do with it. He thought it was silly. I don't want to do that. And then when he found out that their next two options was Robin Williams and Jack Nicholson, he was like, oh crap, this is going to be a huge movie. I passed up like an opportunity. And apparently they also offered him a chance to be Riddler before it went to Robin Williams. And then that project got shut down because Tim Burton left. My question is this to you guys. Would you rather have had the third Batman movie, or would you rather have gotten Superman Lives?
Batman. I'm more of a Batman.
Yeah, I would have gone with Batman.
Yeah.
You know what? I think streamline-wise, it would have made more sense, and it will probably maybe could have finished the story, a la Cody Rhodes. But the idea of a Kevin Smith, Tim Burton Superman is like with Nicolas Cage as Superman.
It's intriguing.
Like, it seems like wackadoo, you know. Like I kind of wish it's like a sideshow.
It could be either the best movie ever or the worst.
Well, we kind of saw a clip in The Flash, and I'm leaning more towards the worst.
I mean, the only reason why I'm saying the Batman is because you had this momentum with Batman 89 and Batman Returns, and there was so much time in between the Christopher Reeve movies, and
that's why I said it would have been more. It would have been a lot more streamlined to do Batman. Yeah. But I feel like it's a safe choice, and doing Superman would have been something just completely out of left field. But then we might have not got Superman Returns, and I kind of like Superman Returns.
I didn't mind Superman Returns.
If you watch it in the vein of the idea that it's the third movie, the real third movie in the Christopher Reeve trilogy, it works really good.
Yeah, it works really well. Yeah.
However, let's stick with this. Okay.
Who directed that movie? Sorry, who directed that?
Brian Singer.
Brian
Singer. He left the X-Men 3 project
which Brett Ratner took over. Both of them are sick fucks.
Yep.
It's funny. Can I just say this side story? I made a post where I like made fun of Brian Singer in it because he was like in the picture. I was like, oh, look at these four legends and this sick fuck Brian Singer, and he recently liked my picture. I took a screenshot of it. Like, clearly you didn't read the caption, guy. Because I didn't even tag him into nothing. There's no hashtag for him. There's no app for him. He found the picture and liked it. And it's from like himself 4 years ago. Okay. Anyways, that has nothing to do with this.
It's a great sense of humor.
So he took over in X-Men. We all know how that went. Mind you, his Rush Hour movies are good.
Okay, yeah,
but he's contained to like a action comedy thing, and I feel like that rubbed off. Like X-Men was going in a really dark direction. You could see that it was headed that way, and then it just changed. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. But and then Bryan Singer did a fine job on Superman Returns.
Yeah, did.
He got the idea of what Superman is. It felt very hopeful.
Yeah.
And I think you could tell a dark Superman story as long as it comes to him finding his inner, like...
And it had Cal Penn.
Yeah, Cal Penn. We were just missing John Cho. Anyways, Batman Forever. Let's talk about Batman Forever.
All right.
Dissecting the Batman franchise is what we're doing now. I am one of the people. First of all, I liked it as a kid. As I grew up,
as a kid, yeah, I can
did not
understand
like
that.
it. I saw this movie. Let me explain this to you. Okay, I'm going to give you the long story. I had all the cups from McDonald's. I'm pretty sure I still have them somewhere. Okay,
they're probably in Nana's house.
No, I would never. Those would never leave my house. I sat front row. There was no seats left. Front row with my mom, my dad, and my sister, and I watched like Batman Forever at, I want to say, Yorkdale. And I think that Yorkdale Theater had just opened at that point.
They just renovated it.
Yeah, it was like not to like the way it looks now, but like to remember when everything was turning into silver cities.
Yes, because the theater at Yorkdale was on the other side of the mall. You can only access it from the outside, and it had two screens.
And at that point, I don't remember what it was, what kind of theater it was.
It was a Famous Players.
And then and then there was Famous Players, Cineplex, and Silver City. And then Famous Players bought Silver City, and then Cineplex bought everything. Digress. But I watched it like that.
It was Cineplex Odeon.
And I remember I really liked it. As I got older, I was like, this movie's stupid. You get like, you hit that teenager, you're like, what a stupid movie. Look at all those colors. So stupid. Colors are stupid. But like going
maybe
back
that's
and
how I thought
it,
because I was 18 when I went to go see it.
Going back and watching it, especially when you really know now, like especially about Joel Schumacher being gay and like his styling being very derivative of his like cultural, his gay culture.
Yeah, the
like
nipples
he was
on
very
the
ingrained in it, right? Like he was deep into the culture. And when you realize that in like all the subtext of the movie, it's actually not that bad of a movie. Mind you, I understand why people wouldn't like it, but I've now that I've gone back, I don't have the same like disdain that I used to have towards it. I feel like it's fine. Like Batman and Robin, that's a different story. That movie sucks. Mind you, I love Uma Thurman, but that's for different reasons.
Story for another episode.
That's a story for a Putty episode. Did you see what Bane was wearing? He's so hot. Shout out to Putty. But do you know what I mean? Like, okay, what are your thoughts? Tell me your thoughts on Batman Forever.
Okay, so with Batman Forever, I thought because they felt that they went too dark with the first two films, that they went too far in the opposite direction with the camp and the silliness.
But it's still kind of dark.
In a way, yes, but the campiness and the silliness and Jim Carrey being his most over-the-top annoying Jim Carrey.
But okay, I have a question.
This is not good Jim Carrey. This was over the top.
If you remove Jim Carrey, okay, or not remove the character of Riddler. If you just had someone else do it and you removed the over-the-topness of Jim Carrey, but you kept the over-the-topness of everybody else, is this a better movie immediately?
No, because Two-Face is not two sides. He's one character. There was no conflict with Two-Face. He was just this crazy, silly criminal. Two-Face is not a silly criminal.
It felt like a Batman 66 character.
Yeah, but Two-Face is supposed to be this methodical former district attorney, knows how to get into people's heads, knows how to fight for something. And they just made him this goofy-ass character.
Okay, question for you, because I don't remember. Two-Face is in Batman 66, but he's not Harvey Dent Two-Face. He's a guy with like a plastic face that comes off, right?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I wasn't making that up in my head. Caps, tell me what you think about Batman Forever.
I didn't really mind it. Mind you, most of my attention was on Nicole Kidman, but
can you just pause for a second?
Sorry.
Just pause for 1 second. Shout out to Nicole Kidman and Batman Forever. I swear that's the hottest she's ever been. All right, cut back in.
Yeah, I mean, it was dark, but like Johnny Donuts said, because of the campiness and the goofiness, like it just kind of gets overlooked. I mean, let's put it this way. Just, Jim, yeah, you guys said it. Jim Carrey was.
I like him in it.
His most outrageous to the point where it just rubbed Tommy Lee Jones wrong way.
He will not sanction this buffoonery.
Rumor has it. Probably could have started. Well, you know what? I was gonna say they probably could have done this film without Robin, but you know what? It does have a backstory, so it was fine for what it was.
Chris O'Donnell was good. He was fine in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. They were fine. I mean, the only consistent person was Alfred, anyway,
and the commissioner.
And the commissioner. That's right.
He's also in Batman and Robin, right?
Yeah, he's in all four of them.
He is. I remember him in the dinosaur scene.
Yes.
Where it's like the Flintstones, where he like slides down the thing.
But I mean, I got that thing on VHS when it came out, so thinking that Michael Keaton was in it. No, it was fine for what it was.
Like I said, I guess too, because like I said, when it came out, I think it was 95. It came out somewhere around there.
95.
Yeah. Okay. So 95. Campo, you were 8. I was 18. Right. You going to see Batman Forever as an 8-year-old compared to someone like me who's going to go see Batman Forever as an 18-year-old who's already deep in the lore of the comics and of Batman, who's read The Dark Knight Returns, knows the grittiness and the darkness, read A Death in the Family, read The Dark Knight Returns, right? Like, so I have this expectation of Batman. And as much as I appreciate Batman 66, they were trying to emulate the two genres together. And to me, it didn't work.
It's kind of a split between Burton Batman 66 and like the 70s era of Batman.
Yeah.
The blue and gray era of Batman. And I mean, it is what it is, but I think it wasn't Schumacher's idea is there, right? Like I promise you, if we ever get the Schumacher cut, it's going to make a lot more sense than the movie that we ended up getting.
Okay.
Batman and Robin, there's nothing you can do to redeem that movie.
No, I'm not saying the movie didn't make sense. As a movie, I just didn't enjoy it. The movie
I know, but I feel like there's a lot more to it. Like now being older, you have to think like from a movie aspect, not necessarily like I'm just comparing this to the comic book, right? Like, see, Man of Steel for me, and I don't want to harp on this forever, but it's not only a complete departure from the material, it's also not a very good movie, at least writing wise. And you could say the same thing about Batman Forever, which is the same idea, right? But knowing more about it, I think changes how you feel about the movie. It doesn't necessarily make it a better movie, but like knowing like this is what the movie was meant to be, I think would change a lot of opinions on it. No, people are not going to be like, oh, this is one of the better superhero movies now, but I think you'll be less likely to be like, oh, this movie sucks.
Yeah, I just think Jim Carrey was trying to imitate Frank Gorshin and just took it to the next level.
But Frank Gorshin was a really good Riddler. Like he comes off sadistic, where he just seems like a goof.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay, so do you think a Michael Keaton Batman in this and a Robin Williams Riddler changes this movie?
With Tim Burton directing?
No, same movie.
No,
because of who you have as director.
Is Val Kilmer good?
Val Kilmer was serviceable as Batman.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I don't think Val Kilmer was the problem. I don't think any of the cast was the problem, really, except maybe Jim Carrey just doing whatever the hell he wanted. And Tommy Lee Jones was not right for this role either.
No. Tommy Lee Jones would have been good for the role if he played that serious side of Harvey Dent instead of the silly like character of Harvey.
And I don't know. Sorry, I don't know if anybody notices either. They never mention about him being like the former DA or running for mayor. None of that. He's just like a completely new character.
Yeah, there's no backstory to him.
Drew Barrymore's in this movie for 10 seconds. I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Was she sugar or spice?
Whatever her name is.
Fairuza Balk. Yeah.
Is in it.
Drew Barry. I was going to call her Drew Carey. Drew Barrymore was sugar and Fairuza Balk was spice. Yes.
There you go. And Drew Carey should have played Two-Face in this. They should have just had the cast of Drew Carey in this.
French Stewart as the Riddler.
French Stewart as the Riddler. What's French Stewart? He wasn't in Drew Carey. You're thinking of Third Rock.
Third Rock.
Drew Carey would have had Diedrich Bader.
He is Batman.
Stiles. He is Batman, exactly. He would play Batman. Ryan Stiles would play the Riddler. Drew Carey would play Two-Face, and the girl who played Mimi would be
the Penguin.
Would be the Penguin. Yeah, okay. Well, before we might as well stay on this. Oh, Batman and Robin
is the worst of the four.
Do you think Alicia Silverstone Batgirl had potential given it was in someone else's hands in the writing and directing category?
Alicia Silverstone was cast because she was the hot property at the time.
Yeah, that's like where I'm going with this. Like, you don't think that if there was a better writer and director, she would have been better?
I don't think. I thought there was just too many characters. Don't get me wrong, because Alicia Silverstone is a wonderful actress in certain roles. She just does not have that diversity or acting range to play someone like Batgirl.
Yeah, she was good in Clueless, and then she was also good in Clueless, and Paul Rudd was really good in Clueless.
Breckin Meyer was good
in Clueless. Yeah, Alicia Silverstone.
Listen, at the end of the day, if Batman and Robin didn't exist, we wouldn't have gotten the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. So
that's fine and fair, and we also wouldn't have got Uma Thurman Poison Ivy, which is
there's a lot of characters in that movie. Eh?
Oh yeah,
I like Alicia Silverstone in Blast from the Past with
I forgot about that. You know who was really good in that movie? Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser as Two-Face.
Fraser. Is it Fraser or Fraser?
I don't know. School Ties.
School Ties. Nice.
Good movie.
I forgot what I was going to say. You know what, really, of all those two movies, of all the characters that are in them, the one that is most wronged or done wrong by is Bane.
Yes.
He looks so stupid. Mm-hmm. He just looks so stupid. You're gonna look up a picture of him. He just looks
with that foam rubber suit.
Arnold was still so hot. Like, how did they they really goofed it up?
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean hot like looking. I mean, mind you, he probably was, but
he was at the height of his
he was
peak
still
of his career.
This is like pre End of Days, pre the
Sixth Day
Super Smash Hit movie, The Sixth Day.
Why don't you go clone yourself? Why? So you can go fuck yourself.
You're gonna clone me? I'm gonna clone you. Whose baby is this? It's your baby. It's our baby.
It's our baby.
Matt, shout out to Matt TV. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the Nolan trilogy because we've already talked about that to the point where I never want to watch.
Wasn't Coolio in Batman and Robin?
Was Coolio in Batman Forever? Can you Google that?
Coolio.
Forever or Robin? You know what though?
Coolio played a banker in Batman and Robin. And Jesse Ventura was the John Glover, who went out to play Lionel Luthor, was also in it as the scientist that Jim Carrey kills at the beginning of the movie to steal the technology.
There you go. We are learning.
I don't remember Jesse Ventura in it.
He was the Arkham Asylum guard.
Yeah, you wouldn't remember that.
You know what this is? You know what this is gonna do now? This is gonna make me want to go back and watch the damn thing.
Do it. Give yourself a weekend and watch all 4 movies.
Just to see Elle Macpherson.
Do yourself even bigger favor. Get the 4K set and watch it in like the highest definition and like relive it as a new experience.
Uma Thurman in 4K.
All of them.
Vivica Fox was in it too.
Who?
Vivica Fox.
I remember her. She was like a arm candy for one scene.
Yeah, and Elle Macpherson.
The soundtrack for Batman Forever is fantastic.
Yeah, that was a good soundtrack. That's where we got Kiss from a Rose.
Kiss from a Rose and that U2 song.
Yes, Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me,
yeah,
Kill.
what a banger.
Kiss from a Rose was from. Sorry, it was from Batman Forever, right?
Yeah, Batman Forever.
I thought you guys said Batman. My bad.
No, don't ever confuse the great Batman Forever soundtrack with the Batman and Robin soundtrack that probably had like Pink, or Christina Aguilera.
I don't even think they were around at the time.
They might have been at the beginning. Not Pink, maybe Christina Aguilera. When's Batman and Robin? It's like 98.
Yeah, Christina Aguilera didn't come around till
Look
like
when
99.
Genie in a Bottle came out.
1999.
Okay, and when? So you tell me she didn't exist before that?
Maybe.
You're gonna make me look up Batman and Robin soundtrack?
I'm looking up the soundtrack. Smashing Pumpkins. That's the song that was on it. The end is the beginning is the end.
The end.
And Lazy Eye by the Goo Goo Dolls. That was a good song.
Listen, I don't want to ever hear you say anything about the Goo Goo Dolls again. I hate the Goo Goo Dolls.
There was a song by R. Kelly called Gotham City.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good song.
Oh, Jewel had a song on the soundtrack. There you go.
There you go. We figured out who our pop star of the thing was. Country western star Jewel.
Who also sings for those Razor commercials.
You know who would have been really good for a Batman soundtrack? Fiona Apple would have made good Batman music.
Yeah, she had that song Criminal. That would have been perfect.
Exactly. That would have been perfect.
There you go. There's a topic for discussion.
Fiona
Apple. Whatever happened to Fiona Apple?
I was like utterly obsessed with her when the song Criminal came out. Like I had such a crush on her and I loved every single song on that album. And now at fucking 57 years old, however old I am, I don't remember any of the songs on the album except Criminal.
That was a good album though. I think I had that album too.
Yeah, well, it was a very good album. That song is still like an all-time classic, Criminal.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've digressed very far from the situation, as my AEW hat would tell you.
Well, fuck it.
You know, Caps, what's your favorite performance from a wrestler in a movie?
Well, that's a good question.
If you say anyone in No Holds Barred, I'm turning this off.
No. I'll let you guys take that. Let me think about it for 1 second.
Tiny listing as Zeus.
I'm leaning towards Roddy Piper and
They Live.
Ooh.
They Live, but
ooh, that's good. I like that.
You know, I don't
Jesse Ventura and Predator.
Yeah, it's
George Steele in Ed Wood. That's my favorite.
Ernest Miller in The Wrestler.
He's in The Wrestler?
He's the guy he fights at the end of the movie.
I don't even remember that.
Ernest the Cat Miller, baby. 3-time karate champion.
3-time karate champion. He really is a karate champion. Shout out Impact brought him out on, I think, last year's Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
I can't remember what, or maybe it was Slammiversary.
Ernest
They
Miller.
brought him out when they brought out Santino Marella, didn't they?
Yes.
Ernest the Cat Miller. Like,
yes,
yeah,
Ernest the Cat Miller.
That's a huge show.
Shout out to Ernest Miller versus Eric Bischoff in a karate match.
I mean, you know what? He was not the worst performer.
No.
We're opening the floor for wrestling talk. Just
Norman Smiley.
No.
Yeah, it just happened. This is a pop culture podcast. Talk about anything.
Norman Smiley.
Andre the Giant, Princess Bride.
Anybody want the peanut?
I am the Brute Squad.
Ox Baker and Escape from New York.
Every Attitude Era wrestler that was in MacGruber for 5 seconds before they blew up.
Okay. All right. I got it. The Fabulous Freebirds at the beginning of Highlander.
Fine. No. Then fine. Keith David and They Live was a better wrestler than Roddy Piper.
Listen here, I don't want to put on those glasses. You're crazy.
The whole fight was over putting on a pair of glasses. They beat the crap out of each other,
which they recreated in Saints Row 4.
Yes, they did. Unfortunately, but if it was in Saints Row 2, I think I would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah, But safe to say Saints Row 4 is better than the current Saints Row.
I think any game ever is better than that. That was such a mess of a game.
Oh, it was horrible.
I don't know how long my brother played it, but he hated it. I played the intro mission and was
bored.
immediately like dumbfounded by the fact that like there was no save point. You had to complete this mission and it just kept going and going and going. And I was like, what is happening? And then you have to do all the stuff to your character. You have to customize the character, and it took forever.
Yeah.
With very little customization options. It took forever. And I played the very first mission after that, and then I never played the game again. I deleted it off my console.
Yes.
And believe me, I'm in this point where any games I was buying, I was 100%ing everything. Like that was my whole thing. And I couldn't even play that game.
Did any of you guys play the new AEW game?
Yep.
No, I haven't. Is it good?
I have. I'm having fun with it. It's a lot of nostalgia back to the No Mercy type of game. And like, obviously it's their first game and there's room for improvement, but I'm enjoying, like, you know, I would have loved to see entrances. They don't do entrances. So basically it's a little,
It's
so
5
basically
seconds of a song and then you control the pyro. I saw that. So they just like walk out of the thing into the middle of the stage and then you press the pyro buttons and it's over.
And it's over. Yeah. So
That's
it's about 5 seconds.
That's straight out of WCW NWO Revenge.
Right. But then you have good aspects on it. Like, for example, if you're participating in the Casino Battle Royal, when you're in the ring in the top corner, it shows you who's the next participant in, like it shows you their card and who the next participant in the match, like as he comes to the ring. So you get to see him come to the ring as, right. And then like you can hold multiple belts. You can hold up to 5 belts at the same time. So you can literally hold all the belts in the game as your character walks out.
The thing I think they should have done, because I've heard the story mode is fine.
Yeah. The Road to Elite's fun.
But it's like,
and it's replayable too, because you can unlock different branches. You know what I mean?
And you need to get Owen Hart. Don't you have to complete a lot of exhibition matches or something to do it?
To unlock Owen Hart, yes.
But the thing I'm thinking is like the game definitely does not take up that much data.
No, it's a small game.
So like with knowing that and knowing you're releasing it on a disc that could hold all this information, I want a story mode in a wrestling game. I don't remember which game I played. I want to say maybe one of the SmackDowns where it had like infinite seasons. You just kept playing. Like make it like a sports game where it's just like there's a year on the calendar. You could wrestle every Dynamite, every Collision if you want. You create the card with your wrestler or whatever. You wrestle all the pay-per-views. There's a history of what your guy has done. That's what I want out of a wrestling
I think that
game.
was SmackDown Raw 2007.
Yeah, but like
if I'm not mistaken.
Give us that, especially on a game where you could fit that easily. Right? Like it's not a big, I'm not asking for a
and
lot.
That's the thing too. Like it's like you do 3 weeks of Dynamite and then you do Revolution, then 3 weeks of Dynamite and All In, and then 3 weeks of and it's only the 4 pay-per-views. And as you know, AEW does 4 pay-per-views a year, but they're not within 3 weeks of each other. So it's like there's no build. You got 3 episodes of build, and then you go to the pay-per-view.
Yeah, well, especially now that we've pretty firmly established that there's 6 pay-per-views now, right? Like Forbidden Door seems like it's going to continue because it's money for both companies. So why would you stop doing it? And then now we have the return of All In, which I think was a really smart idea. And you make All In your once a year huge mega event, you know, like in a big stadium. Go to different countries around the world instead of just being in the US. Make that special thing, right? But they got to do Forbidden Door in Japan next year, I think.
I think that's where they're heading next year.
Do it in the Tokyo Dome, baby.
Most likely.
Or at least in Yokohama. What's it called?
Osaka-jo Hall.
No, what's the arena? Is it Yokohama Arena?
The Sumo Dome?
I don't remember. It's the one that Noah always goes to.
Oh, yeah, I think that's the Yokohama Arena.
Yokohama Arena. Yeah, it is Yokohama Arena.
So going back to the video game conversation, what are your favorite wrestling video games?
Mine?
Top 2.
Easy.
Got to be one of them is No Mercy for sure.
One of them is WCW versus NWO Revenge.
Yeah.
And the other one is nostalgia reasons. WrestleMania on Sega Genesis. The one that had Doink and Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
But gameplay wise, probably SmackDown Just Bring It.
Here Comes the Pain.
Here Comes the Pain. It would be one of those two, and the Revenge. I never liked the WWE version, whatever it was called.
Like No Mercy.
Yeah, I never liked No Mercy. I was always a WCW guy at that time.
WCW Nitro for the PlayStation was pretty good too.
Yeah, it's underrated. WCW Thunder is terrible.
Yes.
I remember having that as a kid and being like, what is this? This is a very weird thing. So I know, like, Burn Games. I was definitely buying Burn Games down in Chinatown on my PlayStation. But WWE and WCW both released like 3 different games each in like a 12-month span.
Yeah. On different consoles.
There was, even just on PlayStation, there was Warzone.
Mm-hmm.
There was Raw.
There was In Your House.
There was In Your House. There was Thunder. There was the one you said. What was it? WCW Nitro. And then there was
Backstage Assault, ECW Backstage.
Yes, like there was just so many wrestling games. Like wrestling games were just coming out. Now you have one game. Like, can we get another Fire Pro?
Oh, like, that one's fun.
But why
I just got the Stardom expansion. Julia, baby.
Wait, like a fan made expansion?
No, it's an actual DLC
for the game that came out 10 years ago.
No, the most recent one that came out like a year. It came out about a year and a half ago.
Oh, I gotta get. It's on PC, right?
Yeah,
that's why. Okay, I gotta get it because the last one on a console was like
opening up my Steam right now.
The last Fire Pro on a console was like Xbox.
Yeah, Fire Pro Wrestling World. It's called.
Okay, I'm gonna get that.
Yeah, I got the Stardom. There's a New Japan 2018. Jay White, Shingo.
They need to get a New Japan game going.
Yeah.
There you go. WCW Nitro.
I got the Stardom pack. It has what does it have? It has Starlight Kid. It has what does it have? Starlight Kid. It has Natsupoi. It has Shuri. Yeah, it's good.
He named 3 people. It has Julia.
And Julia. Like, because I already mentioned Julia.
Yeah, you shut your mouth. All right, Caps, show us what you got to show us.
No, I was just...
Is it a picture of Julia?
I was just looking for the disc.
Is it a picture of Chris Benoit?
No.
What did I
Is it an autograph of Chris Benoit?
I totally forgot it. I totally forgot I had that. I was like, what do I do with this?
You keep it.
Like, huh?
You keep it.
Like, feel
it's
icky having it.
It's just a thing.
I gotta find my autograph.
What did I think his name was? Russ
something.
But I'm telling you, if you don't look at the Russ Beno. If you don't look at the T and the C as being letters, if you look at it as like just an accentuation on the R and the O, it looks like it says Russ Beno. I was like, who the hell is Russ Beno?
Russ Beno.
Anyways, I don't have anything else. You guys have anything else?
I'm good.
All right. Thank you for watching this absolutely ridiculously fun episode. And we're going to bring you more like this, especially because there's no news.
We'll go live.
Go live.
Go live.
For Muscles Marinara and Johnny Meatballs, I don't remember my name. Peace out.